Tulum, the hottest tourist destination this summer, where all the cool kids seem to be going. This also means that it's a hot Airbnb investment destination.
We have a total of 8 buildings and 183 units. So the special part about this project is that we're going to have a natural cenote, which is going to be side by side with a swim-up pool.
But before we get too excited about the investment potential, you must always do your due diligence. You're watching Where's the Money, a show about unique investments around the world, and I'm your host, Kenna Mo. Tulum, Cancun, Oaxaca, they all seem to have great investment potential. But hold on a sec, isn't Mexico unsafe anyway?
There's this huge reputation about, kidnapping in Mexico or it not being safe. How come that's not really affecting the tourism? Because I looked at the US thingy and it said I could get kidnapped or whatever. And I went there and I was driving up and down and I was fine.
So the larger drug market in the world is United States. And we're the neighbor of the United States, and we happen to be kind of a corrupt country. So the drug cartels that want to get into the American market are living in Mexico because it's easy to get into the US. If you want to sell drugs, of course you're in danger.
How can you tell that it's not a fad? How can you tell that, or how do you do your due diligence to ensure that this place isn't just hot right now and it's gonna, die down in the next after 10 years?
I mean, that's a good question. I think someone would be a little bit disingenuous if they said they had a crystal ball and they can really kind of tell whether something is a fad or how long it's gonna last for. But if you think in terms of Tulum, its proximity to America, I think is pretty advantageous. You've got a constant stream of good demand, spring break, special events that are being held in Tulum that attract a recurring crowd. So I think those are the kind of things you look for to kind of say, hey, I think actually over a long period of time, I can see where the demand is going to come from, and you kind of take a bet. But I think, in some cases you're going to get it right, and in some cases you get it wrong.
First time that I went to Tulum, and it was just 3 hotels, really small cabins, no light. Well, light, but not until I think after 9 p.m. the light was off. The bathroom was in a different place as the cabin. The cabins were really small, and after 15 years, it's impressive how Tulum grew.
I know about 5 years ago is when it started becoming popular.
But you think of a place like Mykonos, for example, right? That's an island that has just continued to grow, right, over the last 2 decades, right? I know people who've been going there a long time, and the island has changed, right, over a pretty long period of time. I think Tulum is kind of experiencing the same thing. I think it's actually a place that people have known for a pretty long time, but it's only now, right, that it's really kind of become mainstream.
Now, growth is a good thing, but it comes with challenges. With Tulum, there's literally one road that leads you up to the beaches, but then also there's the downtown area, which is Tulum Centro, and even that as well, there's one main road. So there's an infrastructure issue, and I've learned from Nigeria, infrastructure doesn't really, a lack of good infrastructure doesn't really help when it comes to development. So if the city doesn't fix that, how do you think that would affect sort of the development in the area?
The lack of infrastructure obviously means that it's more difficult to go to other places, I would say, right? Because in order to kind of have a good time or have an enjoyable experience, you kind of need to be close to the infrastructure. So I think to a certain extent, that's going to definitely limit the growth potential. But I think if you've got a thinking municipality, right, that recognizes that tourism is increasingly going to become an important part of their economy, all the revenues that they're making, right, from all these businesses, popping up, hotels, tourists, right? Hopefully those dollars ultimately will be used to, improve the infrastructure in Tulum.
On the left side, there are the beach clubs with all right where the beach is. And on the right side, you find these shops, you find bars, you find different things. I mean, isn't it a matter of just like closing a couple of them down and then creating streets?
Yeah,
Right.
the problem is that no one is doing anything. Like, you need to start doing that.
There's been a lot of concern in terms of infrastructure in Tulum. Do you know if the local government are doing anything to fix like the roads, to create more roads?
Yeah, of course. Actually, right, they just opened another road connecting from the highway. 6 more roads that are gonna give create fluent traffic, and that is rated down by the government in terms of the projection and the plans for the city.
Infrastructure is a huge problem that one should investigate if they want to make this investment. Needless to say, Tulum isn't the only opportunity that Mexico has to offer.
Well, there's 2 places that I think are going to get a lot of attention soon, and they're getting a lot of attention right now. One is in Oaxaca, in Puerto Escondido. I would invest in La Ventana, that is close to Los Cabos, between Los Cabos and La Paz. So there is also very virgin, so it's getting a lot of attention.
But they're more natural though. They're more rough, a little bit more rough, no?
Well, I don't know how you say it, but like the sand is not as like powder. How do you say that? Like that sand is just in Tulum and Cancun and all that areas. So yeah, the sand is not as nice, but the colors of the ocean are impressive. It is not as expensive. And right now, I think what you can find in Oaxaca, the beaches in Oaxaca, is what you used to find in Tulum maybe 5 years or 10 years ago.
And what is that specifically?
Like the hippie vibe, that people go there as backpackers, that want to just go around and have a good day at the ocean without spending much money, with that stay in really eco-touristic hotels. So that used to be like that in Tulum, and I think right now they are selling that, but
it's very mainstream. 100%. I know what you're saying.
And if you go to Oaxaca, you will find that what Tulum is actually selling, but for real. You can go and take a really small plane into the city, like the city of Oaxaca, and that's a really historical place, and you can be in touch with the real Mexican culture. What I see it is that the land is cheaper right now. Like if you want to buy land in Tulum, it will be really expensive because it's already happening. It's already mainstream. So that's why if you want to invest, you will need to pay a lot of money. And in Oaxaca, for example, the place that I was telling you about, Puerto Escondido, it is just starting.
So in real estate development, what we say is the most important aspect is land acquisition. You really want to try and get in at a really good basis, right? Because when you think about it, it's the only variable in a development process that I think you truly control. Everything else you can make really good assumptions on, but the price you pay for land, that's actually the only variable, in my opinion, that you actually can control. So the earlier, the better, right?
So if you buy now in Oaxaca, I'm telling you that in 10 years or maybe 5 years, is going to be kind of the new Tulum.
But the real question is whether Oaxaca is going to steal Tulum's thunder. The same thing Tulum did to Cancun and Playa del Carmen. How will this affect an investor?
Playa del Carmen, it was, as you said before, it was like Tulum maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that. So the people that didn't want like a traditional Cancun experience will go to Playa del Carmen.
Growing up in Mexico, first everybody wanted to come to Cancun at first. Now people are, and then after some years, people changed Cancun for Playa del Carmen. But now at this point, I think in the last 5 or 6 years, a lot of people are coming here and they keep on coming here.
So is Playa bigger than this?
Yeah, it's bigger. Yeah, it's bigger. Tulum is so different to like Playa and Cancun. Like a lot of people are coming to invest here because they want to stay here, you know. So there's something really special about Tulum. Like I'm not sure what it is, but there's a lot of demand. And also because there's a lot of demand, like prices are going up a lot. So if you're investing, obviously you're getting more than if you invest in other places.
There's money everywhere. There's opportunity everywhere. It just depends on the type of investor you are. Are you a risk taker and ready to invest in potential with possible high returns, which is what Oaxaca is offering? Or are you risk averse and want to see more proof or substance before you take a leap? Beyond these two styles, there's also the question of your level of experience and how involved you want to be in these investments. Some investors want to get their hands dirty and put both sweat equity and capital into these ventures. Others may not have the time, but still want to diversify their portfolio. And others may not want to go all in on one property, but will want to own a smaller part of something big to earn some of the returns. We have options for both. First, if you want to do it yourself and you want to know more about Tulum and other locations that we visit, check out the Where's the Money community exclusively on StreamOVG. We provide you with a list of luxury properties in the Tulum area with investment potential. We also provide a due diligence report and an explorer's itinerary for investors in case you want to take a trip out there yourself and go and discover things yourself. If you want to find out other ways that you can get involved in these investments, please do email me with your inquiries. Needless to say, in the next episode, I'll break down a winning Airbnb strategy as well as some of the mistakes I made in the past.